So, the topic today is really, about mentoring and coaching. And, I've had the great opportunity to have mentors as well as be a mentee in my career. And I just thought this would be a great opportunity for all of us to really kind of get a good idea of really what is it? Why do you do it? What do you get from it? What do you give? What are the give gets? You need to ask yourself this one question. Leaders do what they talk about, and dreamers are the ones that talk about what they're going to do. And the question I need you to ask today is, are you a leader, or are you a dreamer? And I think a lot of people here, you're leaders as you're coming to this, and we've got a great leader on today, so I'm so happy.
Absolutely, thank you. And first, let me say how much I appreciate the opportunity to join you today, talking about what I'm doing now. But as Chairman said, I was with Microsoft for a very long time in the partner business, always engaged with partners. 100% of my background is with partners focused on Microsoft. And when I left in 2019, I took about a year off, and then I started the Lynne Frankel LLC, which does three things. I am doing strategy work with select partners. I get all my business from word of mouth. So there's no advertising. If you don't know me or know someone who knows me, you're probably not going to be engaging me for anything. But I focus on channel strategy in particular, but also general business strategy is 1/3 of what I do. Another third of what I do is focused on mentoring and coaching, which is what we're talking about here. And then another third of what I do, I really fell into and is really more focused on career coaching, helping people sort of define what it is they want to do next, and then helping them through the process, whether that's getting the right resume together or preparing for interviews or whatever.
So what is your general leadership philosophy? How would you answer that?
Yeah, so I would say that my leadership philosophy starts by genuinely trying to be a good human being who cares about the people around me, and at a foundational level, conveying what I hope is mutual respect, grounded in empathy, thoughtfulness, and kindness, while also being very clear on the non-negotiables. I don't want anyone to walk away thinking my leadership philosophy says I'm a pushover, because I'm not. But I believe that leaders should nurture those in their orbit and should adapt their approach to ensure that everyone that is a part of their world has the opportunity to contribute at their very best, whatever that may look like. I also believe that leadership is not bound by title or power, and that everyone has the responsibility to participate in the process, whether you are leading or being led. I trust people to make good choices until there's a reason not to. I listen to their thoughts and ideas, and I really genuinely try to lead through action by modeling the behavior I want others to follow and foster for me.
Can you tell us maybe a little bit about your experiences working with partner teams at Microsoft, and what you learned about building successful partnerships?
Absolutely. So as we already established, I have a long history of working with partners, both at an entry level and a leadership level. I sold software, cloud solutions, and hardware solutions through partners. Those partners were both well-established businesses and startups. And I mostly executed and needed to be executing at significant scale. I launched countless products and programs, way too many to count, all through partners. And I was really known as a fierce partner ally during my tenure at Microsoft. And I hope the people that continue to work with me continue to see me in that light.
So how can individuals best approach building relationships with mentors and coaches within their organizations? That's a lot of time. I remember I was scared when I first got to Microsoft. I was like, well, how do I do this? Like, when and why? Right? So what are your thoughts?
I think my first thought is that most organizations don't have mentors and coaches who don't also have day jobs. So you need to be incredibly respectful of their time, especially the ones that are in highest demand. And every organization has the people that everyone wants to be mentored or coached by. And so you need to be conscious of that as you think about how you're going to potentially engage them. My experience at Microsoft, which I know is not true in all companies, but my experience is that if you want the best mentors and coaches, you're really going to have to be in that top X% of the organization. And that I don't mean by title or the size of organization that you run, I mean by demonstrating your potential to learn and grow in a direction that the company is seeking its employees to learn and grow. You may need to get sponsorship. You may need to get some help networking. You may find that your manager or skip level or closest friend who you bounce ideas off of can all open their networks to you and help you find someone that can help you with whatever it is that you're seeking to develop on at any point in time. But you have to be proactive about it. Mentors are not necessarily going to come to you saying, hey, how can I help you? I've got nothing but time. Because I'm sure we all know, I don't know anybody who says, I've got nothing but time on my hands. What can you find something for me to do? And then I think you have to, in context of being respectful, you need to plan to drive the conversation and drive it. This is not a casual networking opportunity in context of a mentor relationship. You need to plan to schedule the meetings, be prepared with what it is you wish to discuss, ensure that those conversations are purposeful, that you have a reason to get together. And they're, like I said, they're not just the casual catch up or informal networking opportunity.
So when you're thinking about like leadership, right, from a leadership perspective, how can leaders encourage a culture of mentorship and coaching within their own teams? So let's kind of dig into that.
So I would say start by being a mentor and coach yourself. Like, it's got to start, again, going back to my leadership principle. I believe in modeling the behavior you want others to follow. And so be a mentor and coach yourself to others so that others can learn from your experience.
It also looks really good on a leadership, a position is if you're getting a good portion of your team connected and pushed and out, because it's not just top level networking, it's bottom level, because who knows, somebody you hired might end up being your boss at one point, or you need a lifeline. But I think that reflects very well, right, on the impact that you have for the company, because you're kind of a steward, right? So how can individuals build resilience in the face of difficult challenges and setbacks?
So I would suggest that you start by changing your mindset. And I know that's become very cliche. There's a lot of talk about mindset everywhere right now. But I think it really applies in this case, because the flip side of a challenge is an opportunity. By reframing the situation, both externally and most importantly, internally, in the self-talk you say to yourself, into the positive expression of the situation can fundamentally change how you think about the situation. The reality is that a challenge is really an opportunity to create something new or do something differently. A setback is an opportunity to learn and get smarter. I can't tell you the number of times I was sitting in a meeting getting beaten up about one thing or another, and I would have to look across the table at someone and say, look, I reserve the right to learn and get smarter. The key in context of a setback is to do the postmortem so that you understand what happened, why you had the setback, and then proactively go out and communicate in a non-judgmental way, fact-based way. Hey, we had this setback, and this is what we've learned, and this is what we're going to do in the future to avoid having the same setback hit us again.
What role can an organization play in supporting mentorship and coaching programs, and how can they ensure these programs that they're putting together are successful?
Yeah, so developing a formal program is one option, but a formal program requires additional resources that may not be available to you. And so I think it's equally valid and important to just support informal connections through simply ensuring that everyone within the organization has a mentor, which can be managed through people managers. It doesn't have to be more complex than that. Helping employees who don't know who would be a good mentor for them find the right fit based on what everyone's agreed we're going to work on, and make those networking connections is another way.
So how can employees continue to build their skills and knowledge even if they don't have access to a formal mentorship or coaching program?
Yeah, so first I want to reiterate, formal programs are not required. Some of my best experiences personally have come from informal situations where I simply reached out to someone I knew could help me, and maybe we only had a few conversations, or maybe I secured their support to get into a more, long-term milestone generated engagement with me. But either way, the point of mentoring is to benefit from someone else's experience.
And Lynne, predominantly, thank you so much for coming on here. This has been a powerful hour, just learning and getting your insight. You've always been such a great, a friend, a mentor, to me, even from knowing each other for a while. Thank you again for coming today. A couple of quick things here, or last thought. You want to just give maybe a last thought?
I was just going to say, both Forbes and Deloitte have done research and have indicated that coaching and mentoring is just going in one direction, and there's going to be more and more of it. And I think that particularly if you have millennials in your organization, Deloitte has said that mentoring can help increase retention rates. 68% of millennials with a mentor plan to stay with the organization for 5 years, compared to 32% of millennials who don't. And I think as business gets more distributed and less centralized in an office, mentoring and coaching is going to be needed to fill the gap that gets created by the engagements that don't happen organically when you're all in the same place. And so I'm very grateful to you for the opportunity to share my thoughts on mentoring. I thank you so much for including me. I think this has been really fun, and I thank you for including me and for everyone coming and listening.
Lastly, we didn't talk too much about ourselves, but the Crancer Group, we specialize in helping Microsoft partners navigate the Microsoft ecosystem, but more importantly is how to take your business to the next level of how do you start getting leads and leads and referrals from Microsoft sellers, cloud solution architects. It's a whole nother level of working with Microsoft. That's what we specialize in. And I'm also the president of Surveil North America, which is a cloud economics tool, read-only access into Microsoft licensing to find optimization and sales results. So just want to say thank you everybody for coming here. The guru, Walter, it's great. Thanks again. And we landed the plane right on the dot. Every month we do this. Have a great afternoon. Talk to you later. Lynne, thanks again. Bye-bye.